Hello everybody, we can still feel the pulse from yesterday's round of Norway Chess here in Stavanger, and we're now about to pick up the beat from today's round of chess here in Altibox Norway Chess 2018. And it's a big pleasure to welcome you on behalf of great Simen Agdestein and myself, Knut Skeie Solberg, and I think we'll have a new great day of chess here in Norway. And we have some exciting pairings today, Simen. Among others, we can start with the Karjakin-Carlsen game. What's your predictions?
Yeah, that's of course exciting because I played the World Championship match just a while ago, and Karjakin put up such a good defense, to put it that way. He almost beat Magnus, but after the match he was named the Russian Minister of Defense.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played very sharp against Magnus. He's played solid, and now he's white. So if he's going to play solid with white against Magnus, I'm not sure if that is where we get the most exciting game, actually.
So you're saying that it will maybe be a draw then? More than half of the games Magnus and Karjakin are playing ends with a draw.
Yeah, the thing is that Magnus is black, Karjakin is white. When you're white, you're supposed to try to win. And if he doesn't try to win, it's hard for Magnus to do anything. I think Magnus will just play solidly, and he will be happy with a draw, I think. Because Karjakin is a strong player, of course. It's not just like that Magnus can just play on a win against a player at Karjakin's level, being black. But I have a feeling it might end in a draw. Hopefully they will play a good fighting game.
Okay, that will be exciting. Let's see on the next. Levin Aronian, Wesley So. What's your thoughts?
It's never boring with Aronian. Thanks to him for that. He's creative as always. I thought he played a very creative opening yesterday with d5, and afterwards I felt, oh, how incompetent I am, because that was actually a very normal line. It's the last popular line there is, so I felt a bit stupid there. But he's creative.
You're doing good, Simen. You're doing
Yes.
very good.
So is solid. But Aronian is white. He will try to win, I think.
Okay, then we have Nakamura against Anand.
Which is interesting because Nakamura has a very good score against Anand. That makes it always interesting with them. Somehow Nakamura's got a good grip on Anand. So we're looking forward to that one.
And then we have yesterday's opponent for Carlsen, Caruana, against the toothache guy Mamedyarov.
Which is also interesting because somehow Mamedyarov has a brilliant, fantastic score against Caruana. I don't know the details, you know the details, but it's almost like Caruana has become Mamedyarov's milking cow or whatever you call it. But
yeah, because they have played 27 games and Caruana has only won 19% of those games.
yes.
So and Mamedyarov Mamedyarov has 33%, 1/3 of the games he wins,
Yeah.
and 48% in a draw. So it's a great advantage Mamedyarov there.
Yes.
So,
But Caruana definitely needs to strike back after yesterday's.
yeah, that will be exciting to see how he handles yesterday's loss.
Yes, and if he's down on his knees again, that would be absolutely catastrophic for Caruana.
And then we have Ding Liren against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and they've played 11 games, and Ding Liren has only won one of those 11 games, and we have 5 wins for Maxime, so he has a clear advantage going into the game there.
Yeah, so we have lots of games here with one side having the big advantage, here. So we're looking forward to a great day. Actually, if it continues the trend they played before, we will have many decisive games.
Yeah, it will definitely be an exciting day, and here we see Ding Liren and Maxime Lagrave getting ready. Lagrave watching in the ceiling.
Yes, and Lagrave is known for going to the confession booth often, which is good. We have to get the follow and
yeah, and that's we're actually following that today.
Yes.
We have here in Norway Chess, we have a confession booth where the players can walk into and confess whatever they feel like, and there we have the first move in Carlsen Karjakin game, which we are starting with. What do you see here, Simon?
Magnus is white. No, he's black. He's black. Karjakin, sorry, always plays e4, so no surprise. I have a feeling Magnus will play the Berlin defense because, and I have I'm not sure actually.
But that's what Karjakin always does.
Exactly. How do you know?
How do I know?
You're not a chess player, you're not supposed to know such things.
I was in New York, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So now comes, it is not the Berlin, thanks for that, because that's a little slightly boring with the Berlin. It's a classic Spanish with a6. So that means they will probably, the next question is whether Magnus will go for the Marshall attack. Which is supposed to be equal these days. Is Marshall attack. You don't know what that is, do you?
No, I can't explain that. I can't explain that.
He doesn't. He goes for, I think this is called the Arkhangelsk. I believe so. And that is, I don't know why it's called the Arkhangelsk, but because isn't that up in the north of Russia or something?
But does this show us already that they're playing for a draw?
No. Bishop c5 is an interesting move. This is out of the... I don't think Magnus has played almost anything, so he may have played it, but this is not what Karjakin expected, I think. Well, that's the thing about Magnus, it's impossible to predict, and which always gives him an advantage, because Karjakin cannot prepare for everything. I doubt he prepared for Bishop c5, and it's interesting right from already. It's interesting, and especially if Karjakin starts to think, because then it's a sign. Of course, Karjakin knows this line well, but it's good that he thinks.
Okay, so the opening between Carlsen and Karjakin is exciting. Let's take a look at the opening for Mamedyarov and the world number 2, Fabiano Caruana.
Yes, this is quite interesting because Mamedyarov played the Russian, which is what Caruana normally plays. And it's extremely solid, the Russian, but this is playing into the hands. If there's something Caruana really knows, it is the Russian. Now he's using his own weapon against himself. Caruana chooses. I don't understand why this line has become so popular actually, because it looks incredibly unambitious and everything. But somehow this line has become last topic.
Besides being successful, what decides if a line becomes popular or not?
It is if these guys here play it, then everyone wants to play.
So they
like
set
them.
the trend, and then
Absolutely.
everybody follows.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
how it is. And especially if a good guy wins a nice game with something, and everyone wants to copy that guy. But this is, I'm really surprised that this is the way that this has become popular. I have a feeling it will only be popular for a while, and then they will switch to something else, because, well, you take with the pawn away from the center. It's not quite logical. Black has an extra central pawn, and absolutely no weaknesses. But somehow, practical chess has showed that the white's play is easy. He develops the bishop to e3, castles long, and there are chances for attack. But this is what he's preparing for. But now suddenly he played b6. Now I'm surely out of the book. And it's not that I was in the book, whatever he's done, because but this is played lots of times. b6. I think I will check it on my ChessBase, because I will not use a computer, because you can just watch the computer yourself. But the ChessBase is just so incredibly useful. I will check if it's been played before.
But what's your thoughts on the opening? Mamedyarov having so good numbers against Caruana.
I have a feeling that Mamedyarov is still in the recovery phase with his tooth thing. And
And you think that
he
that
just-
affects his chess?
I think it just. I heard he had talked to his doctor back home in Azerbaijan. That it will take a few more days, and then it'll be less and less painful.
Yeah.
So I think he just wants to survive a couple of more days before.
And then it will be better and better and better.
And it will start
by
fighting.
the end of the tournament, he will
Something
be
like that.
on the top of his chest.
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that. B6. Now I'm about to find out if this is popular, which it is. It's played about 25 times,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So it's been played by good players. So nothing new here. B6 is not the most common move. Definitely not. It's maybe the 8th most common move or something like that, which says something about how hard it is to prepare, because just in this position there are 8 different things that are more popular than B6. So how could white be prepared for everything? That's not possible. So just by playing something that is a little bit unusual is an advantage for Mamadjaro, because he obviously has prepared B6 and looked it up with the previous games and computer analysis, I guess. So Mamadjaro might be slightly better prepared in just this particular way of playing this line.
Okay, and talking about Mamadjaro having good numbers against Caruana, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave definitely has good numbers against Ding Liren. So let's see if he's playing like he's used to do when he meets Liren.
I'm not absolutely sure what he normally does, but just by playing the kings, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has the Greenfield on his repertoire. Which Greenfield is D5. That's what he played against Mamadjaro. And then Ding Liren plays E3. It is to avoid the Greenfields, I think. It doesn't really avoid it, but it does maybe. Because after castling Bishop E2, Black doesn't really want to play D5. Because after E4 there is no knight to take on C3, which is the normal Greenfield thing. So maybe Ding Liren has found a clever way to avoid the Greenfield, but Maxime Vachier-Lagrave easily changes to a King's Indian setup. This is a King's Indian setup. And means he will strike with either E5 or C5 soon. And that's the big decision actually. If Black will play E5 or C5, he will play one of those moves, I'm quite sure. Or if he won't play those moves, he might play A6 or C6. I think that's all the plans there are in this position. So I hope he will play for E5, because I think that's the sharpest lines. But it's not so boring if he want to play C5 either, because then we will easily switch to a Benoni defense structure with D5, and that is unbalanced positions. So we're looking forward to an interesting game there.
That's nice.
Yes.
And let's check on Nakamura and Anand. Or we can do Wesley So. We can do Wesley So and Aronian first.
Yeah. This is just a long line in the Catalan, and this is played many times before. I'm absolutely sure, and it's kind of a theoretical battle, I think. I wonder. Aronian has to. It's very, very, very hard to get an advantage with this, with white. So I'm a little bit curious about what Aronian has in mind here, just to get the game going. As you see, Wesley So plays very fast. This is all, he knows this very well. Nothing new for him. So at some moment Aronian has to come up with a new idea, and that hasn't happened yet.
6 out of 10 games with these two guys ends in a draw. Are we looking at a new one?
Wesley So is just so solid. So I'm kind of waiting for him. He's young, so maybe in a few years he will try to play harder to getting unbalanced positions to win more games. That may easily happen. Maybe he just needs a little bit time to improve his confidence a little bit before he starts playing sharper. But the way he plays now, very, very solid. Hasn't lost in ages, as far as I remember. And I don't think in this position... Well, I'm curious what Aronen has in mind. It must be something quite soon, I think. Because this is not easy. It's not easy to get an advantage here with white.
Okay, let's check on Anand and Nakamura. And there we have two players. Almost 90% of the games ends either with a Nakamura win or a draw. So Nakamura has the mental upper hand going into the game, that's for sure.
And now he also has this kind of... he just played h3. A very special move. That is just to get Anand out of something.
Why is that so special?
Because in the opening you're supposed to develop your pieces and focus on the center. And this little move here is not doing any of those things. I have to have a look if it's played before at all, actually. Maybe it's a novelty already. And
is that rare?
That's extremely special if you're able to make a novelty that early in the opening. So I need to just check it if it's been played before. I've never seen it before.
Could it be something he planned to?
It is played before, but not on the highest level at all.
Okay.
This is a novelty on the highest level and in move number 6, and that's quite clever considering how many hours and how many games spent on chess and how many games he's played and so on. And then he managed to find something that's never been played before, and he's probably never looked at it either. Already on move 6. But there is a logic here. Sometimes you play h3 much later in the stage. This is a Queen's Gambit opening. And when you take on d5, it's called the Queen's Gambit exchange, I think. It's not supposed to give much. But the thing is, if Caruana's played this move a little bit earlier, I'm not sure if knight h5 is in the air here, but it is in the air. But bishop g5 is an absolutely normal position. By playing h3 first, and then going out to the bishop can of course return to h2 if black plays knight h5. So now the question is there a way that black can exploit the wasted time? Because white has wasted the tempo. That's important in the opening. And the way to exploit that must be to play c5 quickly, I think. And but it's not necessarily. White will play e3, go out to the bishop and the castle, and then everything is in order. So it's not possible for black to make any big exploit anything seriously just because of this little move h3 here. So credit to Nakamura for being creative, having found something that Anand impossibly can have looked at, and he's found a new idea. So that's interesting. If you look at the game from the beginning, this is the Queen's. It started off as this is a Queen's Indian. Especially if black plays b6, then it's a Queen Indian. When he plays d5, it's a Queen's Gambit. And here it takes. Then it's called the Queen's Gambit exchange, I think. And now lately it's been very popular to take with not in this position, but okay, takes him back with the pawn is natural. And now h3. So interesting position here. Good to get Anand out of his normal play. And it shows on the clock. Anand has spent 15 minutes.
And that's what we talked about yesterday. Magnus Carlsen trying to get Anand out of his preparations. So is that what Nakamura is doing here?
And that's absolutely what he's doing, and that's probably why he has such a good score against Anand, because Nakamura is very an unorthodox player, very much so, and Anand is the other way, maybe quite orthodox and quite solid and so on. But perhaps he's struggling a little bit with these unorthodox guys then, like Nakamura. So maybe that's a good way to play against Anand.
And maybe Magnus.
It's not such a good way to play against Magnus, because Magnus is very strong, and especially in unorthodox positions. So Nakamura is struggling very much against Magnus.
No, I was talking about that Magnus is kind of like Nakamura in that way against Anand.
They're a bit similar, actually.
Maybe that's why he's taking 2 world championships against Anand, because he's able to play like that.
Yeah.
And now we've been through all 5 games, and let's go back to the Carlsen-Karjakin game, Simon, and check out if...
Carlsen, right. Here a lot has happened.
Yeah, and tell us.
What on earth has happened here? I have absolutely no idea. How could this position arise from the previous position? Is it the right game, is what I'm asking. It's not. Can it possibly be? Left the position here, bishop c5. c3, normal. d4, that was quickly. And now I'm a little bit lack of competence again, because I don't really know what's the normal thing. But I think this is the normal thing. You just let it stay there. White can take things, but black is counterattacking on e4. Well, I must say this is definitely not the most normal line on the highest level, the normalest way of playing. So, but Nakamura is playing, Karjakin is playing quite fast, and so is Magnus. Magnus is prepared. The only square for the knight. I have to admit, I haven't ever seen this position before, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. It could be checked.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
But how is it for these 2 guys? They've met 73 times before, playing each other so often. How is it to meet a player that you meet so many times?
They know each other well. I don't think Magnus is afraid of Karjakin, but he respects him. I have a feeling that Karjakin is a little bit more afraid of Magnus than the other way. But at least I see there's a threat in this position by taking on h7 followed by knight g5 and this classical attack here. So there's actually a mating attack threat in this position. But not any longer after d5, because at the end there can come bishop out to f5. Okay, en passant. Coming over to an ending. Interesting. So that's how this position occurred.
Does any of the guys have the upper hand here, clearly? Or is it tight, close?
I must say that if anyone is having the upper hand, it must be white, because he's playing against an isolated pawn.
Yeah.
And actually it looks like quite much the upper hand too, because I don't really see... Normally if you have an isolated pawn like that, you should have some kind of compensation, like activity or something. I don't really see Magnus has any of that here. It seems like a position where it's impossible to lose for white. It's more like that, which makes it a little bit surprising that Magnus has gone for this. But maybe there was no alternative, or maybe this is a typical line, as far as I know. I need to check it actually. But just by looking at this position, it looks a bit better for white. But if Magnus can play bishop g4, that would be an active move. And he would love to play that because the natural response, knight d2, would block for the bishop on c1. But the question is, after bishop 4, g4, if white just simply can take the pawn here, he probably can. So if Magnus has to defend the pawn somehow, either by playing d5 or rook d8, I don't know, maybe rook d8, because this, I would say, just is slightly better for white, per definition, because of this isolated pawn. But we're talking more kind of holdable for black, probably holdable. And if it's easy holdable, then it's kind of okay with Magnus, because an easy draw with black is okay against the player Karjakin's level.
And you know, Magnus, how does yesterday's great 5-hour and 15-minute win over Caruana, how does that affect Magnus Carlsen's mental state before a game like this? Very much?
In a very positive way, I'm absolutely sure. It's not like you become tired or something despite having spent 5 hours on the game. It's rather the other way. You get a lot of energy because you won.
But it doesn't make him relax in any way? That he feels like a draw is okay on the next day?
Yes, probably. But now actually bishop g4 came. And now it actually becomes interesting, because Magnus is really sacrificing a pawn. But I think it's a good way to think anyway, that with black against Karjakin, a draw is an okay result. If you think another way, you will easily overpress and it will just be bad. But now it actually becomes interesting, because white doesn't want to allow a double pawn here. He doesn't want to play knight d2 because that locks the bishop. So, but he wants to grab a pawn. So now the big question is, what is Magnus Carlsen's compensation here? Is there something he could give a double pawn? Could get activity like this. But there is no invading squares down here. But there is a knight coming on d3. If this is compensation, I'm playing around a little bit here. I'm not absolutely sure it's enough compensation. So this has become interesting.
In New York, Magnus sometimes was frustrated over that Karjakin didn't play to win, even with white.
Yes.
Because of defensive type of play. What kind of tendency can you read out from today's game?
That's quite annoying actually, with players who really play on the draw, and then you sometimes push too hard, and then you actually lose against this stupid guy who's just playing on the draw. It happens quite. It's a typical phenomenon actually. And but Magnus is has too much routine for going into that trap. I think Magnus will just play the position. If he thinks bishop g4 is good, he's playing it. Doesn't matter. He's not thinking about playing it just to win or something. He's not risking anything. But is he risking something? Because we don't really understand why. Does it make a difference if you don't take on f3? It does, because now you have bishop knight f5. And this might be okay, because if he takes on f5, there's rook d1 with mate. So this may perhaps be Magnus' ID. If he plays here, he will have this thing, and this is compensation out in the in game. But this is actually an interesting end game. A pawn down for black, but still with compensation in the form of development. That's special to have a development advantage in the ending with almost no pieces left. So I have a feeling that is the idea of Magnus' idea, to play rook d8. But Karakin has started thinking, if Magnus just played bishop g4 without having it prepared in advance, that's such things you don't know. But if he's prepared this, I need to have a look if it's been played before, because that's...
Have a look. What's your impression of how Karyakin has been after playing the World Championships in New York?
He hasn't played... I don't know if it's been a kind of... what do you call it? After fun. But he hasn't really done that brilliantly, actually. He hasn't managed to follow up, and it might have been the one chance he would get in life to actually challenge Magnus in a World Championship match. So I think it's been a lot of pressure on him, because the expectations he's got so much support from
Russia, yeah.
From Russia, and that's not necessarily improves the play. Maybe sometimes the other way, actually. So I think it's been a lot of stress on him.
Yeah, because of sponsor work and stuff outside the chessboard,
so many
which
people,
he's not used to.
So many resources put into him doing good results, and that's not necessarily good for the results.
But the interesting thing in New York was that Karyakin got a lot of fans all over the chess world, and a lot of fans in Norway, actually, while the game went on, while the match went on in New York.
Yes.
Because of his behavior on the press conferences and how he handled playing Magnus, and how he talked and how he acted in front of the public.
Yes.
So
he gave a good impression. So that was nice.
Yeah. It was nice to see.
Here I find interesting things.
Yeah. Tell us.
Yes. Here I find that this has been played before in 2010 by Karyakin against Onichuk. The same position, just the same position. So this is now this was played. Karyakin has had this position before. Onichuk played bishop f5 here, and it ended with a draw. So Magnus has actually come up with a novelty. Now we're talking high-tech preparation here. The bishop g4 is a novelty, and it might be a good one too. I switched on the computer a second, which I don't normally do, but just to check if the computer approves of it. It does. So Magnus is taking the leader, sort of. He's the one who's come with the he's the one who's come best prepared.
But tell me, Simon, you don't check the computer. Why don't you do that?
Because this is a TV show. Everyone who watches it probably has the computer just next to it, and they can just watch that one. And this is the alternative. I'm supposed to be the human perspective.
So good. I like it.
I'm quite curious, but every commentator is like that. And that's the point of having a human commentator,
Mm.
because it's not the point having a human telling what everyone can see on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting to use the base and actually find out that this must have been a prepared novelty by Magnus. It shows something of how good his Magnus team actually is.
And how tell us, how does that work? When does that novelty come to mind?
That's very well done by his team. It's Petter Heine Nielsen, he's here, but there are other people also. I don't know if they are working particularly for this game and this tournament, but they're working full time on finding things like this, and they always use the computer when they prepare, always. So they see that there are different ways, and the computer says.
So that's over a long period of time. It's not like they're sitting on the hotel room yesterday night and finding
I'm quite
this.
sure that Petter Heine Nielsen sat on the room yesterday and prepared, and he might have had just exactly this position in mind on the computer yesterday. And it's, I think they're clever. They're clever in the way they managed to find things that Karjakin just cannot be prepared for.
But where is this game going now?
Karjakin is a bit upset, I think, because it comes with a new move. He understands that this is a new move, and he understands that they have prepared it, and that's a big advantage, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And Magnus is a good practical player, but when he's preparing, they're of course also preparing with a computer. So now Karjakin probably feels that he's playing against both Magnus Carlsen and the computer, and that's a hard challenge.
Okay, we're getting a really exciting game between Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karjakin, but let's take a look at the game between Mamedyarov and Fabiano Caruana. What's happening here, Sim?
Not much. Both players have played what they usually play in this opening. Magnus Caruana's just played King B1. It's just improved the king's position a little bit. It's not like the kings has castled to different sides, which is a sign that you should blow the horn and attack, because often it's about who comes first, with kings on the different sides. But right here it's a bit more positional, and by simply playing King B1 to improve the king's position a little bit, Caruana says that time is not the main thing here. This will be a slow positional game, and Black has developed the pieces in normal ways. We went with the bishop here, a little bit more active than going back to f8. It's only pointing at solid rock on c3, but still it's just about placing the pieces on OK squares. The big clash will come in a while here. But bishop knight g5 is definitely in the air. Pushing the g pawn is certainly in the air. Then something has to be done about the long diagonal here first. For instance, rook h3 is interesting. This can be very interesting actually, but they're following normal standard procedures somehow. Probably it is all been. You see that Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, he played b6, a little bit special setup, which gives him kind of advantage, because Caruana didn't know that he was going to play for that. So Mamedyarov has spent less time, which is an advantage for him.
Mm-hmm.
Caruana knows the positions, the type, but it's not like he's can just play by memory and play moves fast or something. He has to think and find how to play this position. So I like the idea to play rook here and perhaps go with the g pawn. But I'm sure Mamedyarov has known the position well and is solid. It's too early to say what will happen here. It can still be an interesting game. It can go both ways.
Okay, it can go both ways, and let's see if the game between Vachier Lagrave and Ding Liren can go both ways. Usually, Lagrave controls the games against Liren.
This has taken an interesting course because Lagrave played bishop f5 very early. He didn't play. I said he was going to play e5 or c5, and then suddenly play something completely else, which is interesting. Maxime Vachier Lagrave is perhaps the most creative player of these guys. He's very,
Of
very
all
creative.
10 players?
Of all the 10 players, actually.
So then you're saying that he is the most creative player in the world?
He might easily be, actually, because well, that's his fun with him, because he plays unconventional chess often. Well, Nakamura is sometimes very unconventional too, and Magnus can of course be. But it's a completely different style than, for instance, Wesley So, and Aryona can also be creative, of course. But sometimes I have the feeling that Maxime Vachier Lagrave finds his ideas over the board, while others, for instance Aryonian, often has very creative ideas that are prepared at home. It's my impression.
Is that creativity one of the reasons maybe that Magnus wants to learn from him, or wants to have him as a second?
Yes, he's not having him as a full-time second, I don't know.
No, but before the New York World Championship he had Lagrave as a second.
Yes, absolutely. I think it would be wonderful to have him on the team to create, to come up with interesting ideas, especially against a conventional player like Karyakin. But here I didn't mention any of those things. Maxime Vachier Lagrave has completely different ideas than what I thought was the normal ideas. He's playing a5, just waiting. d5 comes a little bit early to my taste, but the idea is to put the knight on d4, I guess. I've seen Magnus played knight a6 came. The idea is of course to go to c5, and I think this will come, and then the bishop will return here, and then the question is, Caron has to move either the c pawn or the e pawn, and he can go either one square or two squares. So this will be interesting, and it's always interesting when they're totally out of the book and preparation and everything, and especially when it happens early. So a good day so far with many interesting games.
Yeah, it looks, as I was about to say that, it looks like we have 3 interesting games there. And what about the Wesley So Levon Aronian game?
If that has turned interesting in the meantime, and that would be wonderful, has it? The most striking thing here is that Arionen has played very quickly, and that's the most interesting thing. Well, it started off as a classical Catalan. This has been played many times before. I'm not absolutely sure about the details here. I'm tempted to have a check again, actually.
Yeah,
if what's,
have a check, and while you have a check, I can tell the viewers that we really want you to use Twitter and use the hashtag Altibox Norway Chess and ask questions for Simon, and he will answer in his best way. Use hashtag Altibox Norway Chess, and we encourage you to ask questions, and if you want, send in pictures where you are watching this game here in Altibox Norway Chess 2018, and we'll show it on the screen, and we'll talk about it, and we'll try to answer your questions the best way we can. So please use Twitter. So and this guy sitting next to me, the former #1 in Norway and the Grandmaster Simen Agdestein, will try to answer the questions. And what are you finding out?
This is not possible to know everything. I don't know, but this is all played before.
Okay.
Now comes the game up here, but after bishop takes, the most solid way is to play c6. When So takes on d4. I'm very impressed by So actually, because he seems to be working much more on his own than the others, and he's also very creative in his ways. So and this is not the most normal move to take with the queen, but it has been played before by Aronian actually. It's all been played before by Aronian. This is things that you find out with the computer, with the base. But
so this is then a very known path.
It's not very known at all.
But it is known by Aronian.
Not exactly the same actually. But it turns out to be it's not exactly the same. Similar, but not the same. Similar, but not the same. But the structure. Then, well, I forgot about. But the thing that they let him take on b7. If I'd just seen this position the first time, I think I would have played c6, because you don't want to split your pawn structure. Now the pawn structures are a bit split. You have two pawns here that are not connected. The point, if Aronian had taken here, then it would actually be a transposition to a position that he had against Casangiano just before Christmas in Saudi Arabia. Then we had this follow-up, and this happened, and it was a draw. But this is that's interesting then. We have a similar, but here.
But so this is going towards a draw.
Well, Aronian plays knight e4, which is trying to make an improvement, because he's not trading the queens. He's not trading the queens. Apart from that, it's similar. Rook b1.
Okay.
I think Aronian is trying to create something, but out of very little, I would say. There's not much left in the position, because the moment the knights are exchanged, it will be an ending with different colored bishops, and that's very often a draw. Not much left to play on. This might be a weak pawn, but the b pawn is just as weak, so I think this looks very drawish. But if Aronian is managing to pose problems here, it's really well done, to put it that way. But I have a feeling that it will be very difficult after a move like this, for instance.
And they have played 12 games against each other, and 12 of them has ended in a draw.
Yeah.
So this is not an unusual position or an unusual picture to see when these two guys meet. And when saying that, let's move on to the Anand Nakamura game, which usually ends up pretty good for Nakamura.
Yes. But just looking at the position, you can see that white has the bishop here. But he has an isolated pawn on c3. Should be extremely solid for black. It's my impression. Unless white can pose problems with the development of the bishop on c8 by pressing there on b7. But I don't think so. Black can simply play b6 and go out with the bishop here. I think this looks very drawish. I don't really see that Anand has succeeded much in opening. We saw after bishop c5, bishop f4, we talked about if black wants to exploit the wasted move, h3 he had to play c5, and that's what Anand did. He played c5. That surprised me a little bit that it just took it. I thought maybe he would play e3, but then c4 might be very good actually. Prevents bishop d3 and prepares a big majority, pawn majority on the queen side. If it was necessary to take on c5, then I have my big doubts about this h3 novelty. Because white is about to equalize, black is about to equalize. Well, he is equalizing so quickly by getting rid of the single pawn. He could take with the knight too. I can't see any problems in the world for black if he takes with the knight. He takes with the bishop. Is that an attempt of trying to get an advantage or something? Taking with the knight seems so simple. Might be trouble, I don't know if there's trouble with connected with bishop knight b5 or something. But there's no weaknesses and no pawns left, nothing to attack. And it's actually Anand who decides to give away the bishop pair for a weakened white pawn structure. So I don't know if white is trying to, if Anand is trying to prove that he has an advantage or something. But I can't possibly think that Anand is having problems here. And it's not such an entertaining position either, I'm afraid. But there might be something. White can play c4, maybe c5, put the bishop on d6. This c-pawn is not necessarily weak, not at all actually. Either c4 or you can use the c-pawn to protect a nice knight on d4. I guess the computer says it's equal.
Okay. Nakamura and Anand is kind of feeling each other. It might look like a drawish game. And we're getting close to the first hour of chess on the second day of regular chess here in Altibox Norway Chess 2018. And we'll take a quick look before we take a little break. Simon will take a quick look at the Carlsen-Karjakin game to have some thoughts there before we take a little break.
I'm really surprised. And Karjakin took the pawn. I was so sure he was going to play something with rook d8 and perhaps considering taking here. Then Magnus suddenly plays bishop f5. That surprised me enormously because he just moved it to g4 and then just returned it instead of. He was kind of luring the white to take the pawn. Now that is, I'm absolutely sure, must have come as a big surprise for Karjakin.
So that's kind of the second big surprise then.
I think so.
From Magnus. So
that was certainly a surprise. But the point must be, of course, to get those. There are a couple of white squares here, and there's a battery with the bishop here and the knight. And they can come to e4 or d3 and attack f2. And the moment black changes off white's only active piece, the rook, it might be a serious lead in development. But I trust that it's still well within Magnus' preparation. But sometimes I'm not sure how closely Magnus has followed. I'm sure his second has prepared very well. But I'm not always sure that Magnus follows.
He makes his own way.
Well, it's not maybe not paying attention or listening or something when the second's trying to explain.
How is it to be a second when the player you're a second for doesn't listen to you, doesn't want to listen?
I think that you have to listen. You have to let the player be the boss. If the player doesn't want what you, if you haven't prepared the whole night for a thing, and the player simply doesn't want to play what you prepared, you have to accept that. The whole night's work was just a waste because your boss didn't want to play it.
It sounds like.
But I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah. But before the time here, Carlsen has 24 minutes more on the clock than Karjakin.
Yes, it's definitely Magnus coming up with the surprises here.
Yeah.
And
so he makes Karjakin think.
Yes, but he's thinking himself too, which is because it's not only basing things on memory. Magnus also needed to prepare for lots of things. He has a fantastic memory, but he doesn't. It's not that it's just playing things by heart or something. He has to. Now it's the real thing. It's not preparation. Now it has to play this position. I think this is one. Well, the first obvious thing you have to look at is taking and playing knight e4 because you will simply win the pawn on f2. It's a double attack against f2 and d6. But it's not that dangerous if it falls on f2 because white can just move the king if it takes to the bishop. And this rook is really annoying now on the 7th rank. And now it's possible, perhaps it's not possible to play here because perhaps white simply can take. It's possible to go between with one of the knights, this one or this one. And this may actually not work for black. If this is not working for black, but then you have to look at this move. Let's trade off. But it's a little bit difficult to foresee that black things are blockaded here. White has a fantastic control over the d4 square, and after this, perhaps just something like rook b1 and to protect this pawn, and then go out to the bishop, something like that, or just go out to the bishop right away. I'm getting a little bit worried about Magnus because these lines looks quite good for white, or looks like a pawn up. So what can you do?
The rumors from our colleagues in TV2 says that it's 11% Karjakin and 9% Magnus.
Yes.
So it seems tight.
I think
still.
This move comes to mind. But a slight advantage for white because it's a pawn up. But that's a good sign then, because that means it must be some real compensation. When you're a pawn down and the position is supposed to be equal, then there is real compensation in the form of active pieces normally. But it's a little bit difficult to see what it is actually.
Okay, Simon, the conclusion then after almost 1 hour of chess on the second day of regular chess here at Altibox Norway Chess is that we have 5 tight games then.
I think so.
5 tight and exciting games here in Stavanger, and we will be back here with more chess action right after a short break here.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Okay, welcome back everyone, and as you can see, this is not Simen Agdestein. This is Annette Larsen Bogne, and she is the Director of Events at Region Stavanger.
Yeah.
And first, tell us, what is Region Stavanger?
Region Stavanger is the destination company for the Stavanger region in Norway. So what we do, we sell and promote our region. In events like this, we try to use the occasion to do the marketing as well for the region.
And then we're wondering, what are you doing here at a chess tournament?
At the chess tournament, I don't play chess, just as an amateur, but what is to see the way that Norway Chess has built up this tournament is impressive. And one of the things we work on in Region Stavanger is also to attract big international events such as this one. So this is one of the annual events we have. We have many in our region from January to November, but this is absolutely one of the absolute best. And as what they've done to build up this tournament the last few years is just impressive.
So what do you like so much about Altibox Norway Chess then?
It is the fact that they also use the region to show off the spectacular fjords and nature, and they challenge the players to not just stay in the hotel but also go out and explore the region, and they actually go back with good memories from the tournament. So I think the way they build up the tournament is actually they also challenge a little bit the way that tournaments are normally organized. I don't know, but it seems the way that they've made the players and the best chess players in the world actually coming back year after year and making this a tradition to come to Norway and to our region is just impressive, absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, I'm born and raised in this region, and for me it's special that the best chess tournament in the world is here in Stavanger.
Yeah.
And do you think that what you are mentioning is the key to the best players of the world coming back to Stavanger year after year after year?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that they've built up this trust. The organizers have managed to build up this trust among the players so that they feel that they really want the best for them, and they show them good places, and they've been farmers for a day. They've done really fun and in competition, so they challenge also the competitive side of the challenges, but also out of the tournament, so just to loosen up and have fun, more or less. So I think it's a brilliant, it's enormous marketing for our region, we have to say, and not just for our region, but also for Norway. It is puts us on the map globally, and of course, with so many viewers globally, it's just a big chance. And I think that the tournament and also the fact that they link the network of chess towards the business when they've also organized Norway Summit, which is a very, very good convention that they also host. And they bring these smart people together. It gives huge potential for this region business-wise. So I think they've done a tremendous job now, and I think it's also now the Norwegian scientific community is just to use the occasion to go to the next step, actually.
Because the fact is that you bring 10 of the world's brightest brains to one place,
Yeah.
and the people around 10 of the world's brightest brains.
Yeah.
And that must be a huge business potential
Absolutely.
in chess all over the world, like it's done here in Norway Chess. So why do you think Norway Chess has been so good at that link?
Well, we discussed it, and actually what they said that I think the most important they did is that they put a vision and a target of becoming among the top 3, and from then on they just moved to say we're going to be the best tournament, and now they are. So it's really putting a high target, so that the target wouldn't limit them. So it's well put from the organizer that they really put the bar high up, and so it makes it interesting for the players to come. They want to have it on the resume that they've been here, done this tournament, and the network that they bring and the opportunity around them, the synergies for the networks around is just enormous. I think it's got huge potential. So it's a little bit of a challenge for the people around us to say that, hey, we gotta get on board before it's too late.
We have both players and viewers from all over the world, like India and US. And if I give you the opportunity, what do you think is the most exciting thing about the region of Stavanger?
Oh, our region. Oh,
yeah.
How much time do I have? Well, we have, of course, the spectacular viewpoint, one of the most spectacular viewpoints in the world, the famous Pulpit Rock, that actually will be seen now coming out with Tom Cruise and the newest Mission Impossible in July. So he will be hanging off the cliff, which is a 600-meter drop straight down. We have spectacular scenery with the fjords and steep mountainsides, but also the contrast of the beaches along the coastal side. So we have new art, street art. We have several cities that all have various features that are very, very interesting. But not to mention, we have very, very good food. We have 2 Michelin star rated restaurants. We have good suppliers. So the food is based on good agricultural products that are produced here, and of course plenty of seafood. So we have a lot of things but the highlights, we have just so many. So they can just go to our website and have a look, because there's quite a few.
And then the question, why does the players come back year after year, is unnecessary.
Well, I can keep going.
Okay. Thank you so much coming to the studio, Anette, and enjoy the tournament and
I will.
the region and everything. Thank you so much. And when we come back after a very short break, we'll go back to the great games here at Altibox Norway Chess 2018.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, and Simen Agdestein is back in the chair, and talking about the region of Stavanger, have you been to the Pulpit Rock?
I have actually.
Okay, how was that?
It was wonderful. It was actually the turning point in the one time I participated in Norway Chess. I played here in 2014. Started with 7 draws.
7 draws.
Yes, and then I went to the Pulpit Rock, and then I lost the last 2 games.
Okay.
It's actually true.
So,
But I was very tired, but not by book.
so you were so fascinated by the Pulpit Rock that you forgot.
I think
to
I
play
was.
good chess after.
I think I was more tired after the 7 draws than going up to the Pulpit Rock. That was just energizing and gave energy. That was wonderful, and I think that all the players here should be forced to
Yeah, it
do
is,
actually.
It is a nice place.
Yes.
Check it out.
And especially here with this place, because they are on good terms. Because if you're on bad terms up on that rock, that could be a bit dangerous actually. It is possible to fall down.
Just Google Pulpit Rock and you'll find out what it is.
You will fall 750 meters or something, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's 650, but it's spectacular. So it's nice. But talking about your 7 draws in 2014, what was your best chess memory from Norway Chess 2014?
Actually, I was quite disappointed because after those 7 draws, well, I should have won 2 of those games. And,
oh, really? Against?
Karjakin and against Grichuk. I had completely winning positions, I would say. But I managed to draw, which everyone thought was fantastic for me, because drawing such good guys. But I was annoyed because I had good positions and didn't win. So after those 7 draws, I was so tired and I lost the 2 last games, and I came last after all, which was a bit annoying because I think the winner had +2 and the last one was me with -2. It was a very close race.
There's no shame coming last in Norway Chess. Actually, Sergei Karjakin, a world championship contender, came last in Norway Chess one year.
Yeah, I'm not proud of coming last here, but I did okay. I was on -2 against the best players in the world at my age, and after having had such a long break from playing on that, well, I probably never played on that level, because when I was at my peak 30 years ago, the general level was probably much lower than it is now. Of course it is. It's much higher now with all the after the computer revolution, after the Berlin Wall fell and things like that. After all the Indians, all the Chinese has entered the scene, I'm sure the level is much harder competition these days, absolutely.
Let's take a look at today's level. Let's take a look at the game between Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karjakin. How does it look, Simon?
The thing is that we got the impression that, or we understood that this must have been preparation by Magnus. And we saw an interesting tweet from Peter Svidler, and it says that here it is. That's a that's a good explanation, because we were a bit surprised why he played bishop f5. He just went to g4, and then he took the pawn on d6 was hanging, and then he just returned to g4, f5. And the reason, according to Svidler, is simply that it's the computer's first line. Okay, so it is the computer's first line, and Magnus knows. I think that was very well explained, actually. So, which is perhaps good news for a Norway Magnus Carlsen fan. And it is a pawn down still. The compensation lies in the white squared bishop and activity, and the fact that the bishop on c1 has not come out yet. But I don't think it's more than. It's not more than. I don't think black is better, but I think it's enough for equality is my estimate. I think black still has to play a few more good moves, I think. He has played some interesting moves because, for instance, after bishop f5, then came bishop a3, and we didn't quite see knight d4 when we looked at the position. Now there is no rook d7, and there is still a double attack on d6 and f2, so Karjakin had to take it. And now Magnus has got the bishop here, and especially this white squared bishop is a strong one. Karjakin simply returns because there were tricks after bishop e3. You want to get this bishop out somewhere, but it's hard to find a good square. If you go here, bishop b8 is in the air. If you go to e3, then bishop knight f5 is in the air. Bishop g5 is not a good square because black can simply chase it with f6. So this is the one thing that white needs to solve. He could go there, but after rook d8, he will still have problems.
But now
with
there's
the bishop.
Now there's 30 minutes difference on the clock.
Yes. Karjakin has really been surprised. This is the clear sign of that. I think Magnus knows the position well. I think it's just a kind of. I don't think he's playing by heart or by memory or anything like that. Now it's also on his own. I think. Well, here came bishop e3. That was just what I was afraid of, because Magnus can simply take it. Well, as I was just about to say it, if it takes here, which I think is maybe the only thing he can do, and maybe take here and take this one. This is typical the defense minister of Karjakin. This is a draw. It's as simple as that. Magnus just took it quickly. The game will be a draw, I think. I think it will fade out into a drawish rook ending. A little bit early. Magnus will play quickly. But I guess that's the best thing Karjakin could do when facing a surprise in the opening like this. They're playing quickly. This is going to happen, just what I mentioned. And if they were allowed to speak, which they are not, because that's the Sofia rules. I learned. I thought that Sofia rules was something about not taking draw before move 40 or something, but that seems to be just local variants. The real Sofia rules is that they're not allowed to speak.
But if they were allowed to speak, do you think Magnus would offer a draw?
Yes. No, I don't think he will offer a draw. He'll never offer a draw. But I think perhaps Karjakin would offer a draw.
Okay, yeah.
But this is a completely equal draw.
I kind of get flashbacks to New York watching this game. Seems like a typical setup with Karjakin with white against Magnus.
But it is a typical strategy. You're right. You suddenly facing a new idea that you are not prepared against, and it's obvious that your opponent is prepared. It's just to find something safe and let the team or the computers analyze it till next time. So it's a typical setup, but it's an easy day on work. Easy day for Magnus. He's saved a lot of energy.
Do you think
today.
Magnus fancy this after yesterday's 5-hour game?
Yes, he's so professional. That's just how life as a professional chess player is. Actually, here Karjakin played an interesting move. Maybe it will become interesting after this move. There might be something more in it than I thought. Karjakin is braver than I thought. I thought he would just play something drawish thing like King F2, but now if Magnus takes here, Karjakin takes here. This is double-edged. This can go both ways because Magnus has 3 pawns against 1 here, but Karjakin has maybe the more active pass pawns on this side.
So while we're talking about untypical, no, typical, Karjakin does something untypical.
Yes, I think this is a winning attempt. It certainly is. But I think it might be so. I don't think Magnus should go for this actually. I think he should go for something like b5 or something, just defend the pawn. And something like this. Well, somewhere. But white is a bit more active here. Well, not this move. I think I would play this move. But white is slightly more active with this rook, but not much, because I think b5 is a good move actually. Might be followed by something like this. It's not threatening mate because he can return, but black cannot take this pawn. Let's say something like g5. Could be something actually, because white is about to double on the 7th rank, but every sign says that this should be a draw still, but it's not completely dead, which is good.
So that move by Karjakin changed the game a bit.
Well, at least I think Karjakin is out of danger of losing.
Yeah.
And now it's Magnus that actually has to play a couple of exact moves, I would say. I'm not sure what those moves are, but I think it's risky to take on f3.
Okay. While we see Magnus in his typical thinking mode, we'll move on to the game against Caruana and Mamedyarov.
Yes.
So what's happening here, Simon?
Not much has happened since last time we looked at the position. The main thing that has happened is that Caruana's been thinking a lot.
Yeah, yes. 45.
Well, we had breaks and had a good time, and you interviewed the Russian director, wasn't it? And so
yeah, director of events.
Director of events. Then Caruana's been sitting there thinking.
Yeah.
But he played the idea with bishop rook h3 to protect the bishop, the knight on f3 to send the g pawn on. Now there is a concrete question. Can black take this one and win a pawn? That's the first thing that I would wonder about in this position. I'm not absolutely sure what the compensation is. It might be something like bishop f c4 and put pressure on this one. Here we see white was a good reason to go with the king to b1 long time ago. There is no pin with bishop g5. So that was a general preparatory move. I have a feeling that this is not dangerous for white to sacrifice that pawn, because in case the attack doesn't work, he will still be able to hold the draw with the different colored bishops, I think. It's still worth having a look at it. I think trouble on f7. It's not. He played c4. Interesting move. Maybe a very good one.
Okay, tell us why.
Because the first one that strikes you is if it takes this one, I can simply play rook e4. And if you manage to win this pawn on g4, that was the one lever that white was going to push black with. If that one disappears, then it's absolutely nothing for white. You could trade off things here. But then this pawn, with this pawn gone, black is absolutely safe with the king position here. And then this pieces looks quite stupid actually, the white pieces on the h-line. I have a feeling that Caruana is struggling, spending so much time, and then comes a move that may actually have surprised him. And that's certainly a bad sign, spending a lot of time and suddenly a move that he hasn't seen appears. If he cannot take this one, he has to go somewhere else. I don't think he can go there because simply g6. And if he returns back here or something, then that might be possible. I don't really see, without the bishop pointing towards the king's side, there should be no real attack, nothing big danger for black. He can probably simply play d5 or something and just be happy with the center and the bishop stupidly placed on f1. So Caruana is still in the recovery phase of yesterday's loss. He
Yeah, it seems like.
hasn't solved the thing.
Do you think that was a hard thing for him yesterday? He was obviously not in a good mood after the game. He wasn't really interested in talking so much to the journalists, and that might happen after such a long game and a loss. So, but do you think that affects him today as well? That he takes the experience from yesterday into
that is the big challenge as a chess player, of course, losing a long game, and you are so annoyed, and perhaps you sleep badly because of that, and so on. So that's a very good quality to be able to get back after such losses, and you never know if Caruana slept well or is really tired after a bad loss yesterday, and the quite bad play in the blitz actually. He didn't play well there. He scored 50%, but he didn't play well. There seems to be a tweet into us.
Yeah, that's correct, Simon.
What's the tweet?
let's take a look at the tweet. And the tweet is from Idris Shogi, Altibox Norway Chess hashtag. He used, and we encourage you to use that hashtag. Great tournament. Greetings from Colombia.
Cool.
We have viewers from Colombia. Have you been there?
No.
You haven't played chess in Colombia?
No. I think I played chess against Colombia. Actually,
Okay.
I think I lost against the first board player twice, if I remember right. I think Zapata comes from Colombia, and I think I played him a couple of times in the Olympiad, and I lost him twice actually, which is quite annoying.
It's so nice to have viewers from Colombia.
And that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So that tells us about how big chess is all over the world.
Yeah, and it's really cool actually that it unites people, and good for peace.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, but it is. It brings out the dialogue.
Yeah.
Across the borders.
Brings people together.
Yeah.
Destroys my English, by the way, because when I speak English to anyone, it's not an Englishman. It's mostly people with much worse accents than I have. And when I speak with them a little bit, then my accent is just as theirs.
Let's go to the French guy and the Chinese guy.
Yes.
Let's leave
We have
Colombia
to leave him, but
for,
it was interesting that he took on c4 and then bishop e4 came. I think the reason is that the alternative was just much worse. I don't think Caruana is very happy with the position, but he actually had no choice. But black will take the pawn on g4 in next move here, and Mamedyarov will be absolutely out of any losing danger, I think. So here we might already talk about playing on... I'm a little bit early, but on 2 results I was about to say. Maybe it's only black who can be better. But okay, next game.
Yeah, let's, as I said to the French guy and the Chinese guy, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave
Yes.
and Ding Liren, and how's that game going?
Have you found out, has Vachier-Lagrave been in the confession booth? Said something interesting? He has.
Yes, I think so. Let's take a look at because we have a confession booth where the players can go in and confess, and now the French Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has been there. So let's take a look on what he said.
This is going to be interesting. Honestly, of course, it's not my cup of tea in general to get a King's Indian-like position when I'm aiming for Grunfeld, but in this case, well, apart from having to lose this knight on b5, I think I'm doing quite fine, and I have some chances on the king side, so it's hard to say whether I'm just fine or maybe in very slight danger, or maybe even pushing for an advantage, and I doubt that is the case, but yeah, it's very double-edged, and well, of course my main play is to go on the king side and force him to exchange some pieces, and well, maybe some favorable moment if I'm able to play c6 and get my knight to d4. I mean, things could go in my favor quite quickly. So yeah, just a game to play basically. But yeah, I felt like the opening transition was quite interesting. I think I gained the tempo compared to the game Fabio against Magnus in Grand Cube, because there Magnus spent 4 times to bring his knight to c5 with knight c6, knight b4, a6, c5. I spent only 2, and I spent 2 times to bring my bishop to d7, but he spent 1. So yeah, it was a nice improvisation. I don't know what it will give, but at least it's a fresh game to play. A nice improvisation.
Okay, so what's your thoughts, Simon, with some nuts in your mouth on what Maxime said here?
So he was prepared to play the Grunfeld, he said, and that was just what Ding Liren avoided by playing e3 in the opening. And he was referring to a game with Magnus played, similar type of position. And he talked about Magnus had a similar thing. He played knight c6 in the opening to provoke d5. Here, Ding Liren played d5 unprovoked. So Vachier-Lagrave saved 2 moves with his knight, but he lost 1 move because he spent 2 moves with his white squared bishop. Well, it was. But anyway, they're improvising. They were improvising in the opening. No long theory, he said. And he seemed to be optimistic. He wanted to have the bishop. He talked about getting a knight to d4. But I'm not sure that is very realistic, actually. Because the moment he goes to the bishop to knight to e6, to go further to d4, there's always bishop b6, and this pawn on a5 will be very loose. So actually, I think I like White's position quite well, actually. But he seemed optimistic, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think he did.
But I'm not sure how well founded it is.
Maybe it's because he's used to beat Ding Liren. He
Yes,
just has a...
but what I see here is that White some moves ago had a bishop on e2 that was quite weak. Now that one is gone. I'm really curious about how that one disappeared, if I may just click back a few moves here. The thing in the opening, the structure was something like this. This is what he was referring to. Magnus had a similar type of position with black. And
Yeah.
And,
That's what he
and here
talked about.
finally comes the thing in the center. E5. If he moves it, we will have a classical King's Indian setup. When it takes here, we have an unorthodox. This is not classical setup. This is kind of unorthodox position. You're not really sure of this pawn structure is, if it's good or bad. But white is very, very solid. It weakens the position a little bit with g3, but it's important to prevent knight f4. Preventive play, or prophylactic play, as we say in chess and in medicine, I think, to prevent. And I'm a little bit surprised that Vachier Lagrave trades off this white squared bishop, because I thought that was a bit weak, the white squared bishop. But he simply accepts to trade off that one. I thought that was the weakest white piece. And here he played c6. It's good to get away this knight. It was very annoying. And I'm not sure at what moment he wanted to get this knight to e6 and up to d4. So I'm not really sure what Vachier Lagrave will do next. But what will white do? Well, he can improve the position with king g2, stands a little bit better there. Perhaps play rook d1. He can play b3. I think there are lots of things that white can do. This pawn on a5, I would say, is seriously weak. So I like white's position much more.
Yeah, it feels like you obviously want, if you could choose here, you would be white.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at this stupid bishop on g7 pointing at it's the wrong colored bishop. This is per definition a bad bishop because it points at this pawn here. And this is per definition a good bishop because it's on the other side of the pawns. It's pawns are on white, taking care of the white squares. The black squared bishop takes care of the black squares. I like white's position here. I don't see what Vachier Lagrave is doing. He doesn't really want to play h. Well, he could think of h5 and h6 and g5, but it doesn't look good because of this huge hole on f5 then. So that plan is not tempting. There's another knight that can go to c5. You can have this move. But then you need to protect this rook here. So maybe a good plan for black is just to play rook d7 to keep it protected in case white takes on c5 and follow up with the knight around this way. But still, he's not wouldn't be able to jump to d4 even then. So maybe the best plan is just to stay here and wait and prepare for different to say that, well, it's not much white can do either, but I think there is things white can do. He can start, I would start with playing king g2 and perhaps g4, and knight g3, and perhaps squeeze black a little bit with g5, but that's risky, because then holes here will appear. Still interesting struggle.
It's nice.
It's understandable, that I think.
And in the game between Wesley So and Levon Aronian, Wesley So has been sitting alone at his at the table for many minutes now.
And it's his move too. But this has...
and he has... that's what I've been seeing on my computer. He's been sitting there thinking, and his time is ticking. He is getting under half an hour.
It looks like soon. A dead draw. That's the thing. Dead draw with uncolored bishop and no weaknesses on either side, and it's strange that he's thinking. If it's been a normal, well, if they didn't have this Sophia rule thing, they would just accept the draw. Black has a slight weakness on e6, and one day perhaps I can get a rook on b6 and perhaps somehow get the bishop to b3. That's the only idea I can see, actually. Or maybe open up with f4, e4, but not much to play on.
And then Aronian came back to his chair, sat down for 4.2 seconds and stood up again.
Yeah.
Just check in.
I think
Has anything happened? No, nothing has happened, and I will just leave my chair again. And here
and not
you
spend
are.
any energy. I think that's the main goal of this game for the players. Not spend energy, because that's something I learned from I participated there. That it's good to have energy at the end of the tournament. And you actually you don't have endless of energy. If you spend more energy early in the tournament, you have less at the end of it, actually. Sometimes.
Yeah. And the nuts are helping you and your energy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good.
I think Magnus often uses nuts too.
He does.
Yes, he's often using nuts to play when he's playing.
Okay.
Our battery is low on the.
Yeah.
But
I think we'll. We might take a short break. We have some computer issues here. That happens. So when we will be back, I think Simon's computer will work again. So take a breath, eat some nuts, have a good time, and see you in some minutes. Okay, welcome back, everybody. While we were in a break, Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karyakin's game ended in a draw. And Sergei, what's your thoughts on the draw today?
Yeah, well, of course, I didn't expect this line because normally in our games, Magnus prefers to play bishop e7 and to try to go for some martial positions. And so today he went with bishop c5. This line was popular like 8 years ago or something, and I had some games, for example, against Onishuk. But normally people don't go here with black, but recently this line was played by Wojtaszek against Topalov in Shamkir, and so maybe because of this game, Magnus decided to play the line, and I think Topalov went for some rook e1 or something, and then he actually lost with white. And d takes e5 is playing for some small advantage in the endgame. Actually, I have always thought that this line is slightly better for white, but maybe after today's game I have to change my opinion, because I think it was my game against Onishuk actually, and he played bishop f5, and I quickly got a very nice advantage. I think he played, if I don't if I'm not wrong, I think it was something like this, and knight c5, bishop e3, and I got very nice position with white, and I was actually winning in this game. And bishop g4 is a nice move, and first I didn't understand his idea. Okay, I have to take the pawn, because otherwise, for example, if I go bishop e3, he takes, and I think knight e6 is coming, and with a spoiled pawn structure.
But did that move surprise you?
Well, bishop g4 clearly surprised me, but after rook d6 I still didn't understand the point. I was considering some rook gate, but it doesn't really work. Also bishop f3 doesn't work, but bishop f5 I have seen this move, knight s3, and here I was looking at some logical stuff for him, but it also doesn't work for him, because if he plays rook d8, I have rook e7, and it doesn't work. So yeah, but then I realized that he's gonna play knight e4, which is clearly the best move, and yeah, unfortunately my pieces are not nicely placed. My knight on e3 is badly placed, and the rook is a bit misplaced. So if I manage to bring my knight to d4, for example, then I would be better, but I just don't have time. And yeah, I think there were many ways to play, but I think it's just equal. So I didn't see anything else. And bishop s3, okay, the endgame is clearly drawish, and I thought he can play b5. Maybe he didn't like some a4 moves, but I don't believe it. And rook b8, of course, it's also very drawish. King f2 I could have played, but basically anything draws here, for example, this. And rook e7, I thought he's gonna take and play rook e8. Okay, maybe he didn't want even to consider some pawn endgames, but I don't think it works. And rook d7 is a draw. But rook e8 is fine, and b5. Yeah, I cannot do anything because he's gonna play rook b6, and so I went c4 just to force the draw. Yeah.
This is the 74th game you and Magnus actually played. Really? Yeah. Does the fact that you've played each other so often, does that affect the way you play when you meet each other?
Yeah, well, actually we didn't play that often till 2006, but then we played a match, and also it was a big preparation for the match, and then I started to feel that I'm a bit tired of Magnus, because I have studied so many games of him, and I realized once again how great he is, and yeah, we are both probably a bit tired of each other, but but still we have to we have to keep playing. And somehow when I am white, I mean, I'm trying to go for some principal lines. I'm fighting, but somehow it just ends to a draw normally, and I don't know. What should we do? But maybe later on in the future we'll have some more fighting games.
Do you have something to add?
Yeah,
Simon?
I just think this is wonderful how you show us these lines and explain everything, because for me as a chess player, having you explaining these things is just wonderful actually. So I just want to thank you for the lines you've shown us here, and the way we checked it up and we saw that you had played before and so on. And we were wondering, bishop f5, did play bishop g4 and then returned to bishop f5, and then we saw a tweet by Svidli that the reason he played this must have been is because it's computer's first choice and because he knows it's the computer's first choice. So you actually meet a quite advanced novelty here, I would say.
Yes, I think he was clearly prepared well. But I mean, in this line, I should go maybe to some very principal lines with bishop g5 or something. But it's a bit hard if I'm not prepared to this game to go for some very sharp lines. And so I thought the Zen game is slightly better. But he showed a very nice way how black has to play in this kind of game, so I did.
And I was trying to explain that when you encounter such a novelty, the sensible choice is to play something solid and kind of let your team or yourself prepare for bishop g4 next time or something.
Yeah,
now is not the day to refute a novelty when he comes prepared and you're not.
Yeah, but actually, of course, when your opponent is well prepared and he knows the line, and I looked this line many years ago actually, and after my game against Onyshuk, I felt like, okay, this is slightly better for white without any risk. But today I have to agree that with a precise play is equal.
Okay, 2 draws now, Sergey. What do you think of the rest of the tournament now?
Well, somehow it's normal for me. For example, when I played in Shamkir, it was first 8 games were draw. For me, it was not that I was playing for draws, but somehow it happened, and I won only in the last game. So I will wait for my chance, and I will keep playing in every game, and we'll see.
Do you enjoy it here in Stavanger?
Yeah, it's actually very nice, and I'm so happy that the weather is nice.
It's not always like this, I can promise you. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I played some tournaments before, here the weather were not always nice. And but now we are walking every day. Many kilometers, and it's very nice.
But you know you have lots of Norwegian fans. You got lots of Norwegian fans after the match against Magnus in New York.
Well,
and even your manager became very popular. Do you know that?
He's a cult figure.
Yes. I hope he will come here.
Yes.
Yeah,
is still your manager?
Yes, he is. And,
is he coming to Stavanger?
Well, if you will invite him, then I'm sure he'll come.
He loves Norway.
Yes.
And Norway loves him.
And Norway loves him, both ways. That's perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Sergey, for sharing your thoughts, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
And we'll take a short break, and we'll be back with, hopefully, Magnus Carlsen.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Okay, we're back with Magnus Carlsen, and last man standing or sitting yesterday, first man leaving today. How did you experience the day number 2?
Yeah, obviously today was kind of an easier game. Pretty early it was clear after I sacked the pawn that I would have pretty good compensation, and it was always heading towards the draw. Although I always had to be a bit careful, it was not really in doubt after that.
Karyakin said he was really surprised by some of the moves you made.
Yeah, no, I played an opening I hadn't played before, so that was kind of the point. But then again, after the line he played, position isn't that exciting anyway. So.
Does a day like you had yesterday with a long game that you're winning, does that affect your mental state for the day after?
Yeah, it kind of makes it easier to accept a relatively dull draw, obviously, but I would have wished for something more interesting, but it's okay, and it's not like I have a habit of beating him with black anyway, or white for that matter.
Mm. Let's take a look at the game.
Yeah, I think Karyakin took us through it very well actually, and he obviously was surprised by bishop g4. He had played this against someone I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a computer idea obviously, because it's not very. I mean, once you see it, this bishop g4, bishop f5, it's kind of obvious, but without checking with, I mean, before it's not so easy to find the idea that you just give up a pawn on a tempo and just to open this file and get compensation.
Yeah, that was impressive. We cheated by. We looked at Petter Svidle's tweet. I don't know if you were asked about that one, because bishop f5. The reason he played bishop f5, he tweeted, was because it's the computer's first choice and because he knows.
Yeah, obviously that's.
But it was impressive anyway, because it shows something about. Some people say that you're well prepared in the sharp opening lines and so on, and then you just play like this and equalizes without problems. In a quite advanced novelty, actually, I would say.
Well, I mean, you should give the credit where the credit is due, and that's with my team. I mean,
that's what we've done. Your team is working well, but the challenge is for the team to convey the ideas over to you.
Yeah. No, okay, but I mean, I don't know if. I mean, still, it was a draw. It's not like it was an idea that gave me chances or anything. So, I don't think we should sit here and congratulate ourselves with an idea that leads to a draw. Obviously, I'm happy that. Well, if there wasn't for this idea, then the whole line doesn't work, because then it's just suffering. But
it gives us a little insight of what is happening actually backstage, and that your team,
sure.
or at least Petter Svidler, Petter Hein Nielsen, who's here. We don't know who else is working for you here, but at least someone is doing a job. But they're doing an enormous job. It must be quite a challenge actually to kind of chew all the ideas they produce, because I'm sure they produce many ideas, and you are only one person there, and perhaps more, and so on.
Yeah, no, it's always that's one of the problems of modern chess, that there are so many ideas, and it's there are so many points that you have to remember, and even if you've seen it both on the board and on the computer many times, it's still the load of information is so big that sometimes it's just better to sit down at the board with a clear head.
Right.
Another thing, Magnus, this is actually, we talked a bit about with Sergey. This is the 74th game with Sergey Karyakin between you guys. How does that affect the game, that you know each other so well?
No, obviously I have a great amount of respect for him, and you can see it from the games that I'm not trying to bamboozle him with anything too ridiculous. So I'm trying to keep the game within the confines of what I feel is reasonable, and considering that he's such a good player and he has such a solid style, the games often end up this way in a draw with few mistakes.
He said that he's analyzed so many of your games lately that he was actually getting quite tired of you, and you were probably getting tired of him too.
No,
Not at all.
I'm happy to play him.
Okay, Magnus, you have 1 win and 1 draw now. What's your thoughts for the next days?
No, it's still looking pretty good. So ideally, I would like to win every game, but that's not very realistic. So draw with black is fine, and looking forward to the next one. Hoping to put some pressure on.
Okay, thank you so much for coming to the studio again, and good luck. And we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with more chess from Stavanger.
Thank you.
Go-To Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go-To Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with a high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.gotolife.no.
Okay, welcome back. And the conclusion now after Magnus Carlsen playing a draw against Sergei Karyakin is that Sergei Karyakin is tired of playing Magnus. Magnus is not tired of playing Karyakin.
That was cool, actually. Tired, but still a good sign, because Magnus wants to play chess. He's not tired of chess, is what I hear by this. So that's cool.
Yeah, and as we talked about, they have played 74 games against each other, and yet another draw against the two World Championship players.
And you really heard how they were respecting each other.
Oh yeah, really.
Even also Magnus respects Karyakin a lot, he says, and it's not just like running over him in any way.
And Karyakin saying that he saw how really good Magnus was when he had a break, not playing him too much, and then he played him, and he remembered again how good of a player Magnus is. So the respect goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's move to the 4 remaining games.
Yeah.
A lot has happened, Simon.
A lot has happened. The first thing we can say is that Wesley So is going to play a draw. They're just going to repeat the moves here. It is absolutely a draw. So that was it. Finish of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Caruana is having a great interesting game, because I misjudged the position completely, of course. because last time we saw it, I said that it would just win the pawn on g4 and it would be no danger, which was probably completely wrong, because after queen d3, we suddenly see that if it takes hit on g4, there's perhaps bishop knight g5 with enormous threats on h7 and f7, and it's just not to open. Well, this looks actually extremely dangerous for black. So that made it much more complicated than I thought. So then maybe Caruana had seen everything. I thought he had seen it or something, I said. Then came d5, which is a sacrifice. So Mamadjaro is safe on the king's side, but it has cost a pawn. And that's quite an enormous difference, actually. Still, this piece looks a bit stupid. But Caruana is a pawn up. And look at this stupid rook here. He's been to defending this a pawn. So now we're talking.
Now you're using the word stupid very often here. Can you tell us what you mean by a stupid?
Well, the rooks wants activity. This is not activity. It's just standing behind protecting a pawn. Well, this is doesn't perhaps seem that much more active, but it is more active. The rook on a5 is active. This one on a8 is passive. But this one on the other side is extremely active. So that helps, of course. And especially since he's actually winning back the pawn right away, it seems. Which makes it even more interesting, because maybe Mamadjaro had foreseen all of this. I'm a little bit curious that Mamadjaro actually won back the pawn so quickly. Wouldn't it be possible to defend this pawn somehow by simply playing the rook back to d2 or something? And just keep onto the material. And
I think we have a draw now. Yeah, we have a draw.
Yeah, that's Wesley so Aronian. They were just repeating, I guess.
Yeah.
But this position here is certainly interesting. And Mamadjaro has won back the pawn, and it's impossible to say who's better. Anything can happen in this game, but really anything. But 3 pawns against 1 looks stronger than 4 pawns against 2. So and the bishop is often cooperating better than with the rooks than the knights, and still this rook on h3 is stupid. It's not active. So but anything can happen. The knight can go here and perhaps down here and just win this a pawn. So an interesting ending, especially since Caruana only has 15 minutes left, which is clearly a bad sign. Things are going slowly for him.
And right behind the camera here now, we see Aronian and Wesley So coming out of the competition room. So I guess they will come to our studio very quickly to explain their draw, and then we'll talk more about the exciting game between Mamadjaro and Caruana afterwards. He's going to the TV2 studio first, so okay.
We have a little more time perhaps, unless we talk to Wesley So alone.
We might do that. I think we'll do that. I think Wesley So is actually coming into the studio, so we'll take a short break, and then we'll back with Wesley So. And we're back with Wesley So in the studio. And first, Wesley, I want you to judge the position in Caruana and Mamadjaro's game. How do you see it?
Well, right now black has regained the pawn, so it's not very clear anymore. Well, his rook on a5 is very powerfully placed, just paralyzes the rook on a8. But on the other hand, his bishop on f6 is, well, is in a decent square, puts pressure on this queenside pawns, and also c2 is under pressure. So it's hard to say who's better. Both sides can't push their pawns yet. I'd probably take white, just because the pawns on a7 and c7 are very vulnerable. And white has ideas of rook c5 and rook a5 just in case, for example, if he wants a draw. But it's all very complex. Probably black should play g6 now and then king g7 to improve his king side.
If Caruana is brave, he plays h6 here.
Or wait for king g7
Yeah.
and then h6. Well, the good thing, black cannot push his pawns too fast yet.
But if you go just back, just 2 moves back or something, because he was a pawn up, as you pointed out.
Yeah, he was
Here.
pawn up.
And now, just a couple of moves later,
He lost his
he
pawn.
lost a pawn. What is your first thought? Would you give that pawn an f2, or would you?
Well, I wouldn't give up any pawns if I have a choice.
Yes.
But, well, it's not too easy to defend the pawn because if rook h2, then rook f4, and then let's say h5, and the white rook is paralyzed defending f2 and h4, and probably king c1 is an alternative instead of rook a5. Maybe king c1 is an alternative to try to protect the pawn. So black wants a draw.
Is this another? Is a draw fair happening here?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a draw fair happening actually. Repetition of moves.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what happens if king b3. Maybe black has c6.
Rook b8.
Rook b8, rook b5.
Right. C6 first.
So black has c6. Yeah, and black could be better. Alright, so maybe white has no other option but to take the draw here. But their game was very interesting because at first, after g4, it seems black is in trouble. But then he found c4 and rook e4. Yeah, so they're gonna go for a draw. I thought Fabiano was better earlier.
But shall we just have a look at your game despite not being here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we should. And this is the Momogiaro and Fabiano game is going towards a draw. And
Towards a draw.
and you guys played a draw, Wesley.
Well, we're not waiting for Levon.
No, just have your view first.
Well, he played the Catalan, and so there are many games in this line. Well, I actually didn't expect he'd go for the Catalan. I thought he'd choose some other less investigated lines. But then I had many options to play against the Catalan, but I decided to go for the main line. Well, they've been played before. I played h6 last month. And I was black. And black is doing quite well
We saw
here.
a game here with Marion against someone. I think it was something like this. And it was almost the same. I think it was almost the same position as you had in the game.
Yeah, definitely. If white doesn't take on c7 now.
Yeah, but you know that Arunan played this with white just a little while ago, I think, in Riyadh, I think, just before Christmas.
No, I didn't know that. I only knew that Shakhriyar beat Wei Yi in the Tata Steel Masters. But yeah, I look at this position quite a bit, and it seems black is equalizing here too. But I thought bishop d5 is fine as well.
Yeah.
So here, I mean, there are many games in this line. Queen c1 and queen d1 are the two main moves. Well, here I actually thought I expected knight b d2. So after bishop f3, knight f3, d4 is protected.
Yeah,
Hello.
take a seat. Yes. Take a seat, Levon.
We started analyzing without.
Yeah.
Very
so-
boring without.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
So-
was saying I thought I was expecting knight b2 and take, but probably the knight's not well placed on c3. So here,
Yeah.
took on d4 because c6 queen b3 probably quite unpleasant for black. I didn't like my rook here on a7. I thought take.
I had like I remembered something, but I don't think I remembered it correctly. I felt that when white is not forced to exchange the queens, because this line can appear when the queen is on c4, when black plays h6.
You just mentioned,
first.
didn't you play this just before in Riyadh?
But the queen on d1,
With the queen on c4.
yes,
That's,
then you're forced to exchange the queens.
Yes.
But the queen on d1, I thought that maybe it can make a difference. So it all depends on the position after knight d7, if there is something for white here or not.
Yeah, unfortunately, if queen c2, which looks very strong, I have knight c5. Yeah, and then I'm just in time. I think if I don't have the move queen c4, I might be in trouble. But here, I'm just in time, of course. Yeah. So knight e4. Yeah, here I thought it was very strong. Fortunately, I have c5.
Yeah, I thought that, well, I was considering that this position might be playable, but in fact it's not, because bishop e7 is sufficiently strong.
What with knight d2 here?
Yeah, knight b6 is a good move here, yeah?
And-
Otherwise knight d2 would have been good.
And let's say e3.
E3, and then I thought rook d7.
Yeah.
And you're starting the counterattack.
Knight c4 draws right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here e3 I thought for a long time because
Yeah, because knight
Yeah.
f6 takes and bishop f1 might be
you
just
were
slightly
gonna
worse.
take.
Or knight d2 even.
I thought knight d2
Yeah.
because here I'll be happy a5.
But this is also slightly better for white, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Because you control the d file.
Yeah, like rook d6, rook to c6, I don't know.
Bishop b5.
Yeah, some of those things. But knight d2 also is possible, yeah.
Yeah.
And rook bc1, yeah?
bc1. Then bishop f1 next.
Yeah.
Then somehow when you get the bishop here, my pawn on a6 is very badly played. a5, bishop b5.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, when you were thinking here, I realized that probably you were thinking over
c4. Uh-huh.
And I thought it's a good move.
Yeah, I thought here the crucial move was a5.
Yeah, I thought black can just play either g6 or g5 and just...
Even g5.
Yeah, and then just play king g7 and... I didn't see how I can create winning chances for myself.
And this doesn't change anything. c5, knight takes. Wait, what was I thinking? c5, knight takes, rook b6.
Yeah, maybe just king g7.
Simple.
Okay, guys, this is nice. You both have 2 draws so far. How do you see the tournament?
It's the start. I mean, you try to create some chances. It doesn't really. I mean, in modern chess, it doesn't really matter if you're playing white or black, because most of the time you'll get similar equal positions. So you just have to wait and hope for your opponent to give you some chances.
But Wesley's so their opening repertoire is very solid. Did you consider playing something unorthodox somehow just to get him out of his opening repertoire? Because that might be an option against you. I don't know.
Yeah, I was considering, but Le Bon also has many opening surprises up his sleeve, and I wasn't exactly sure if he would play Catalan or some Reti or English.
It also is not easy to beat in the Catalan.
Yes.
Is my judgment.
Yeah, and if I was 100% sure he was gonna play the Catalan, perhaps I can prepare some pawn snatching. But then, yeah, if you have the black pieces, generally safety first is not such a bad idea.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming in the studio. We have 2 more games finished, so there are 4 chess players waiting to come to the studio.
Wait,
So-
Fabiano drew and BC.
Yeah,
It's
the only game,
Maxim drew
the
also.
one
the
really
only
interesting.
game
There are a couple
Nakamura
of,
and Anand is
yeah,
the
that
only
was
one game.
we haven't had time to look at it for a long time. It's been a wild game,
No, it's
and
also
now it's a dead draw.
I thought everyone finished.
Oh, that finished as well. Okay,
We heard
everybody.
we're 5 minutes earlier.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for sharing your thoughts, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think we'll just you can just leave, guys, and then we'll change places with Mamedyarov. Welcome to the studio, and Fabiano Caruana.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Just get some sound on you so that you can explain to us how this ended in a draw, Fabiano.
Yeah, I played this line many years ago. I was wondering how in 2013. I couldn't remember.
But I
Much
remember
about it.
everything.
Yeah, I think I played 94 in that game.
No,
sorry.
Can I
because
just say something here? Because I often hear you say you don't remember, but sometimes you see me do remember enormously much, because very often you come with quite advanced opening things. Are you cheating
Yeah.
us?
No, I mean it depends how. It's a rare line.
Yeah.
And I mean I had some vague recollection of my analysis. I definitely have some analysis in this line, but it's not something I've checked. in a
I
long
think
time.
it's all relative, to put it that way. Remember?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I basically remembered is that there's 2 approaches. One is to play with a knight on d4, I think like knight c6, knight f5, bishop f6 is...
But I don't think it's main line. I think e4 also is like a main line. It is not very popular line for black, and for that is knight d4, h4 is maybe same, I mean, popular. But he played knight d4, of course I know is move, knight d4, knight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought what I played is very logical.
Yeah.
So what was the conclusion? Should you have played knight d4 or not?
Well, I mean, both moves are playable, yeah. It's just,
okay.
It's hard to
Right.
say. Maybe after some serious analysis you could say which is better, but I mean, I think what I played is also very decent. Of course, I have many moves, knight g5. I thought king b1 to give black the move was kind of clever, because it's not clear where black wants to commit his pieces yet.
Yeah, I remember only knight g5 move immediately.
Yeah, I thought that
Only
knight-
attacks move, yeah, only this move, but I can play h6, I think. H6.
Yeah, it's actually
yeah.
surprisingly difficult to attack here.
Yeah, but king b1, I start to play.
Okay, this is normal because this is basically unpleasant. No, I mean, this one is a whole entirely different story. So
But if maybe d takes c5, yeah.
yeah, but I
think
thought that this
No,
would be
not
very-
here, not here. I think you show his game.
No, bishop f6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to make this work, but I think knight c5 is the best move. But I couldn't
See, why you don't like his bishop h7, bishop f5?
here like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought that you'll play knight e5 and
it just b3. Yeah.
b3. Yeah, I was only looking at knight h7. I don't know, maybe king g8.
Maybe knight e4 is kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe
Also-
maybe
also
it's
possible.
bishop h7, bishop e4 back. I mean, maybe it's not easy after king g8. It looks interesting. I afraid this move.
Yeah, maybe
knight
this was
g5.
another approach. And
Yeah.
if king g8?
King g8, I don't like move just maybe f3. Just f3, yeah. I don't know.
But now g6?
I don't know. Knight d4 is not well. Bishop g7, yeah, maybe. Knight d4. But okay, I mean, I just think maybe you can play. Maybe
Yeah,
no.
it's another game. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
we
was
need to calculate. Yeah, but okay, you play good. Yeah,
no, I was mainly trying to.
yeah.
I thought it's very logical. Yeah, just f4. It could be very dangerous if I get one more move and have a huge attack. Bishop c4, and here I couldn't find. I was trying to make this work. It looks very dangerous at first. d5 is forced. Queen d3. g6 is forced because I'm threatening to mate. And and I spent a lot of time here, but I
Yeah,
couldn't.
but you calculate too much.
I couldn't make it work. It looks
You stop after knight g5. You did.
okay. Anyway, rook h3 I thought is interesting. I thought also
Yeah.
this is a move. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting move. I don't. I think it's a good move also. Yeah, just play.
Yeah, I thought maybe queen f4.
No, queen e4 bad move. Rook e4.
No, but then queen c1. And
For that. I think you queen e4, rook e4. Then is maybe queen
no,
e4.
I thought queen e7 is the best move, but it becomes
Knight g5.
yeah, knight g5 h6. It becomes very unclear.
It's not rook e3 move.
But then bishop g5, h5, queen g5.
Yeah.
Maybe
c7.
queen 5 g6. Yeah. It's kind of important, I guess. Anyway, but I thought it was very dangerous for black here. Even like
Maybe
I thought
it's-
even queen c1 maybe is dangerous.
Yeah, queen c1. I don't like queen c1. I don't like. Okay, b takes c5 is okay. Yeah, b
Yeah,
takes
I thought this
c5,
is a normal move.
g4, and maybe rook b8 move first.
I was expecting queen d7. Rook b8 g5.
You see some idea queen c8 take if3 and queen b7, no?
Here queen c8.
Yeah, it's like idea.
But this one.
Yeah, he's losing. Yeah, I mean every time. Okay, I don't like this. Yeah,
No, I thought queen d7 was very
yeah,
interesting.
queen d7. Yeah,
Bishop f5, I think.
yeah, queen e4.
And this is kind of important that here, at first I thought this was very strong, but after queen c1, everything hangs for black. And bishop d3. And then I thought like here you're gonna have a funny move like knight g1. Which, anyway, it was, yeah, and maybe
No,
queen.
but I can also just take b2. No,
What?
bishop b2 after bishop d3 maybe.
Yeah, but I thought that this was a bad.
No 3 pawns. Yeah, you rook f1. Yeah, rook
Yeah,
f1.
rook f1.
Yeah.
Knight.
Okay.
I mean 3 pawns, but I mean no pass pawns. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, queen a4 I guess is normal, but I thought maybe white is a little bit better here. Take, and b3. And it's kind of important that there's no attack here because of b4.
Yeah.
So okay, I have king side, some advanced pawns on the king side. And this was very interesting. Okay, take. Yeah, I think queen d3 is a good move. Because otherwise, okay, I can play this, but
But takes g4. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know.
But also you calculate this very nice line, knight g5 immediately. It's like queen d3. It's very
Knight
nice.
g5?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Oh, I didn't.
Like rook c4, queen d3. It's very nice line. I calculate and I think it's
So take.
take. Only move here is only rook e4 and rook e6. If3, rook e6. I mean, yeah, only this. Or black is losing position. If not these moves,
Yeah, rook e6.
and okay, king f8 is queen g8.
Queen
Yeah.
g8.
Yes, okay, looks good.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice.
No, but there's only line for black. I mean, take and rook e4.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
otherwise,
yeah,
otherwise
it's
it's
losing.
dangerous,
Yeah. Okay, queen d3. I miss absolutely is.
I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah, I miss is bishop e4, queen e2, and I
Yeah.
think I can take g5 and f3. I miss f3 move.
Yeah, f3. I had a strange hallucination for a second, thinking rook g2 is possible, but I
Yeah,
noticed that
yeah.
from afar it kind of was hard to spot this. But this is winning. But I thought that anyway, this is very unclear.
You think it's unclear? Yeah? I think it's better for white.
Yeah, it's very dangerous for you, of course, because I was thinking that this is interesting. Bishop d3, rook g5 is forced, because queen g5, queen f3 wins. Rook g5, f4. I think that this is winning because queen g5, queen e4. I mean, or at least very dangerous attack for white here. So bishop d3, queen d3, rook g6. I wasn't sure what this is. Rook g5, some sort of mess.
No, okay. I think it's bad position for him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah,
I thought also this is maybe interesting here, and f4, something unclear.
Rook g6. Yeah.
Yeah, rook g6, rook.
Yeah, I think it's just a bad position, and for that I give you pawn and I play without pawn, but it was not right. I think it was bad position for me. After this end game, you of course
Yeah, this
you
is
miss.
an
Yeah,
incredible moment. I mean, my first intention was to play h5, and now rook g2, rook h2 is possible.
Yeah.
And then I decided to be more clever because I saw like, okay, here I should play a3.
Just king c1. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe king c1, but
Just king c1, but I don't. Okay, I can play his move h6 here, stay.
yeah, but
But his idea,
and rook e4, yeah,
you just stay rook e4, rook f4, yeah,
and rook f4, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe not easy.
And I don't see. I don't know. Maybe
But
not
okay,
so
after
easy.
H-
Yeah.
But maybe
of
rook
course,
e8 a3, because I think that if I take your pawns, then
yeah, okay, h6 is same.
yeah.
No, rook e2. Also, it's not so easy. Take and rook f. Rook g2 or no, but this is not.
Yeah,
work.
but okay, it's going to be a mess. Yeah, yeah, knight d4.
Yeah, knight d4 is. Okay, maybe, but I don't think it's so easy. But it is better, of course. I was afraid. I think white is better.
I thought maybe you could do this,
No, but
because here it's very hard to do anything with white. With my pieces are very passive, and now the 4 against 2 isn't so important. I mean, king c1, and like I don't know, g6 or something, king g7. I mean, not easy to win it, of course.
and then you miss rook g2, yeah.
No, this was and then I thought rook a5 more clever, because now if like rook e8, a4 with this. And then I got up, and then I went away from the board, and suddenly I realized that rook g2, and
No, I think black is better.
I don't know what you can do here.
No, but I'm not sure it's better, of course. But it is first time I got this good position. I got good position, and I think play or no play. I mean, I think it is not because Fabian is just 40 minutes for 20 moves or 80 moves. Why not? And after I remember I need to go dentist tomorrow. It's better draw is good results.
You're still in recovery status.
Couple of questions, guys. How is your teeth?
But it's okay. My doctors promised me tomorrow will be much better.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go tomorrow in the morning. It will be again 3 hours. I will doctor, and I hope tomorrow will be fine. It's last day. I mean, to go doctors. But now I can sleep normal.
Okay.
It's very good.
Sounds good.
Thanks for doctors. Your doctors. It's very good. Very nice. Okay, I hope.
Norwegian doctors are good. Thanks.
And okay, I promised him if I will play good in this tournament, I will tell my name of my doctor, who is good. I will look it.
And Fabiano, yesterday's game, what did that do with your mental state, you think?
Okay, it's unpleasant to lose in the first round, but I just played one really awful move, and okay, maybe overall I played not well in that game, but one move was kind of ridiculous, and today I pretty much did the same. So.
But I have a question, because you're number 2 in the world, and which tells everything. But still, you're making the moment you stop making those stupid those moves here and there. How strong can you be then? Because you seem to make such moves
okay,
a bit often. Is that right? You lose more games than the others at your level, but you're still number 2 in the world. You win much more games too.
Well, I mean, this year I've had a very strange year so far. I've lost a lot of games, but also I've won more games, I think, than.
Yeah, you have.
It's wonderful for us as an audience, but it must be hard for you to play such fighting chess all the time. And
okay,
how good couldn't you be if you had just stopped losing, just to wipe away the losses and keep the wins?
Well, I mean, for many years I also had a slightly less volatile, I guess, playing style or performance. I mean, I also at some point would go periods like half a year without losing a game, and now I have been losing games in every tournament. But okay, this year I can't complain. My results are good.
Yeah, they are.
But this is a good approach, because you're kind of pushing the limit all the time, which means you're still on your way somewhere rather than stabilizing.
Yeah, of course I'm trying to improve, but I can't. I hope these games are not representative of my play. I mean, I think that so far in this tournament, and also I played a game in the Bundesliga, which was quite bad. I've been playing, at least missing things, playing poorly. I mean, so hopefully it'll get better.
Yesterday's game, how much did you think about what's happening in November in London at all at this stage?
I didn't really think about it. of course, I hate to lose in general, so I wasn't happy losing the game, but it doesn't really affect the match at all. You know?
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in the studio, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Dig Liren and Maxime in the studio.
Go2 Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go2 Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.go2life.no.
Welcome back, and another draw has found their way to the seats. Maxime, how was this draw for you?
I felt the game was very interesting. I didn't expect this opening shot from Liren, and I decided to improvise a bit with this idea of bishop f5, and I know it in a less favorable version for black, so I thought it's possible to try it and to play f5, not to commit to anything, because e5 doesn't work yet. I mean, white can just take on e5 and there's no not
if you play e5, what did you say? I mean, not here, but just back a moment. Instead of bishop f5, we had this position on the board. I said there are two lines here, either c5 or e5. Alternatively c6 and a6, and you play something completely instead. I haven't forced it.
Yeah, but this is again, this is not enough competition.
Yeah.
I think actually the line was going bishop f5.
Is this the main line?
No, not at all. Actually,
but in principle, to play on e5 is normal, isn't it? Something like
yeah, but I mean, I have
like
time
BD,
also.
like BD7
I have time to decide on what I want to do, and I mean, basically, it's just a game. Any move is possible, and the game.
But we were praising your creativity here because you played with something at least I hadn't even thought about. But so you are.
He called you the most creative player in the world.
Well, it depends, but well, if you know playing bishop f5 and a5 is a landmark, well.
You need a little bit more to be the most creative in the world, more perhaps.
Yeah, I think so.
Here I will consider
knight d2,
knight h4 and f4, but bishop d7, f4, but
yes.
e5.
Yeah, e5 is probably good enough. Also, I mean, I don't see. No, e5. E5 I probably need actually, but yeah. No, I thought about moves like knight d2, but it's very slow. Now I can play e5 and well d5, knight a6, e4, bishop d7, and it's reminiscent of this King's Indian with knight d2, but my knight is not on e7. The knight on a6 and c5 is much improved version for me. So d5 is probably the move to play, but then, well, compared to what Magnus did in one game against Fabiano, actually, here he played knight c6, and actually I followed the steps later on. He played d5, knight b4, and then brought his knight to c5. So
we heard you in the confession booth. You were very happy because you saved one tempo.
Yeah, well, one tempo makes all the difference, apparently. No, he actually got a better position than I did. Yeah, here of course I need to do something because if I just allow knight b5, I'm going to be worse. So that's why was trying to get knight f4 or to provoke g3, but I missed queen d2, which is a very strong move, because otherwise...
Yeah, I would worse. If I play bishop f1 immediately, you can take and queen f8.
Yeah, well, worse I'm not sure, but yeah, I want to go bishop h6. So
after knight e6.
And also rook d8 and c6, and you know, so queen d2 was very strong, and after that, well, it's clear that I...
Is it obvious that you should trade the bishops?
No, but not
If
particularly.
you go back to e6, then
Rook d1, I thought.
your knight didn't have one.
Even knight d5 might be an option
I would
already.
play b3.
Well, I thought any move, like, I just want to prevent c6 forever, then b3, knight d5, and I'm just...
Because in principle it's not the one bishop you want to trade, but you just want to trade something. Is that the thing?
The e6 square is for his knight,
Yeah.
not for bishop.
Yeah, I need the knight to go to e6, and well, if I roll knight g5 at some point, it's just going to be terribly bad for me.
You just need some space.
Yeah, I do. No, so then I mean, I threaten c6, so of course you have to lose some tempi. But it seems that now, well, I don't have the option of bringing my knight to d4 now.
I thought we heard you say something about bringing your knight to d4, but I was wondering how would you intend to do that?
Well, but that was before queen d2, and I missed queen d2. So now I don't have this option, but of course my idea now was, of course, the queen is pinned to this diagonal because otherwise I get bishop h6. So I just thought I'm going to play 45, and it turns out it's probably, I mean, it's very slow for me, but at the same time, the knight on c3 cannot really move. Bishop takes c5 is always in my favor, and d5 is just happening. I thought
maybe I should play something like queen c2 instead of queen g2.
Queen c2? Yeah, of course I considered that, but I thought I can still play d5. And no queen d5.
Could you take with the knight and take on c5? One c takes d and knight takes d5. Knight takes d5.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it might work because actually I saw this. Bishop c5, queen c5, knight f4, rook d7, knight equal to king f2,
Queen d7.
and queen c4 check. But yeah, otherwise it's not good for me. I mean, it's good for me, but no, it's not. But after this, I thought worst case scenario, I have rook c8. Or rook c7, maybe a bit more precise.
Yes.
Should be enough to make a draw. And even something like knight b4 is very possible to consider because I get the d file. It's actually quite crucial, and well, I'm up and down, but it's also not easy to make use of it yet. The knight on d2 is just too bad, in my opinion. So actually, maybe knight b4 is just strong.
I think one question for you. This is the 12th game between you two guys, and 11 of those games have ended in win or a draw for you, Maxime. Why is it so hard for you to beat this guy?
Well, I remember I have win once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not without win.
Yeah, I said one win in 12 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I lose many games with black pieces. I just evaluate the position in some complicated position. But okay, I will try to improve.
Okay. So what's your thoughts on the tournament so far then? Maxime first.
Well, of course, it wasn't ideal to
to pick up 5 blacks and 2 double white. 2 double black, I mean, in the first 2 rounds, but well, I could only blame myself for my playing the blitz and my missed opportunities. But now it seems like my shape is good. I'm seeing all those nice tactics. I like this before.
If I take
Yeah,
Q3,
again, I mean, I mentioned it, but
I'll play 93.
yeah, knight c3, knight d4, knight f4, any of those is a bit tricky for me. But e4, yeah, basically
If I
equalizes.
take Queen f3.
Yeah. No, king h3 is probably forced.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it's not forced. Yeah, no, I
I
mean.
play King g1.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not good. That's what I meant.
No, King g7.
No, knight d3 first and then
Yes,
king
King
g7.
g7.
Okay, guys, thank you. We have 2 guys waiting for a while now, so we have to bring them into the studio. It's very interesting listening to your thoughts, and thank you so much for sharing, and good luck tomorrow. And
Thank you.
Thanks.
see you then. And then we can take 17 seconds break and then get Nakamura and Anand in the studio. Thank you and welcome back. We have Nakamura and Anand in the studio. Thanks for your patience. What's your thoughts on the game today? It ended in a draw, but it was very interesting from our point of view here in the studio.
Yes, basically this move confused me a lot. So basically there are 2 important plans here. One is to go Queen c2, or this can be done as Bishop g5, c6, Queen c2.
Then h2 doesn't really make sense, of course.
Yeah, but there I can even use the fact that I can play knight e4 or something. So there are options. But if I go g6, e3, bishop f5, I mean this might be reasonable. I simply wasn't sure what setup I should go for, but he went here, and here I reasoned that we have simply transposed to the main variation of the Queen's Gambit with bishop f4 and e3, just with h3 instead of a3 or rook c1 or bishop e2 or bishop d3 or whatever. So, I mean, by doing it this way, I've not swapped knights, but other than that, I think there's a line where you go bishop e2 with the pawn on a3. Or is it rook on c1? And then you go d4.
Yeah, so the bishop on e2. Yeah.
And you take with the bishop.
Why? Why not with the knight?
They
Knight
both
is
work.
possible, yeah. But I think there's... Well, I assume here I can just take.
Yeah, I mean, I would have castled. But I mean, the thing is,
A6.
yeah.
But there is an idea where the bishop is on g3.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rook's on c1 normally. If the rook's normally on c1. With the rook on c1, you have rook c2, I think. That's why it doesn't work. Because I think you have like something
Sure.
something very similar with the rook on
Yeah.
c2 instead of b1.
So if I here I have this check to escape, but with the rook on c1 you would have rook c2. So I mean white is supposed to get a small edge with the putting knight on d6. That's why they started playing bishop d4. Knight d4. I think the point is because he has no control of the central squares, I should be fine. I can take with the queen or I can take with the knight. And if he goes bishop e5, which then I go back. Queen d8, rook d8. I don't think I'm even the slightest bit worse here. Because I can just even come back to d4. Here, I mean, there are positions where I can get worse. Like if the bishop somehow sits on d4 or something, then it's going to be unpleasant with the two bishops. I had the feeling trying to force matters too much would be a mistake, so I decided to just make a pause move.
We
and
were
see what he would
wondering
do.
when you took with the knight, instead of taking the knight, we thought perhaps you were trying to prove you were better by taking the bishop.
No,
and
simply
taking
by
c3.
analogy. Simply by analogy, with the position on rook c1, the recommended move is bishop takes d4, and it's supposed to equalize. So I just did this.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, bishop takes d4, if you don't know the other line, it might look strange, but considering it's fine with the rook c1, I mean, it shouldn't, it's just completely fine.
Yeah.
Trying to say black is better is a little bit much. It's
Yes.
not necessarily a winning try.
Yeah, he went queen b3 because white also has. I mean, white can come to some stable position like queen b2 and bishop e3, rook d1, then and let's say c4. That's the dream setup, and then I could start to have an unpleasant endgame. But here, I initially miscalculated because I wanted to go queen f6, but then he takes on h6.
Yeah, this is what I was hoping for.
Yeah, and now I could take. He can do this, but I think if bishop d2, then I have rook d8, which is strong.
Yeah, this looks.
And but what I wasn't sure was this move, because here somehow I don't get to clean up. If I go knight b4, he has bishop a4. He keeps the two bishops, and this missing pawn could have some impact later. Then I saw this forcing line with knight b4. So if queen takes, then knight takes, and I'm dominating the bishop. I mean, simply that it runs out of squares. But he goes queen a4. And I had the feeling this was slipping out of my grasp. I mean, I could go bishop d7, queen d7, knight d3 or something, but he takes. And my position looks optically very nice, but I don't think I'm going to land anything, and I'm just a pawn down.
Yeah, and there are no outposts, so probably the
Yeah.
the knights are completely.
And the knights are loose. I mean, it's not like they're attached to some square. So, well, I was not that concerned here, but you know, you always get a bit. I think if he does rook a d1.
Queen f6, yeah.
Queen f6. Then I thought bishop d6.
But now can't you just play b6?
Take
And takes?
and bishop e4. I thought this was your plan. Couldn't I get this in the game? Bishop e3, b6.
Wait, there
What
was
did
a
you-
reason. No, I think I didn't like this order for some reason. Bishop d6. No, maybe on bishop d6, maybe you can go knight a4 actually, maybe instead of b6.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember in the game, I there was a reason I didn't play this order. It's because I didn't like it.
No, I was thinking of this move because if he does rook d5, I go bishop e6, rook h5, and I'm in time with queen takes a2, and his whole attack is.
Wait, what? Rook takes a5?
Oh no, sorry, queen a4. Excuse me, queen a4, and now if rook takes c5, queen f4.
Yeah. But
But
bishop
maybe
takes
bishop
h6.
h6. But here I will go g h6, rook c5, bishop queen c2, bishop c2, bishop a2, right?
Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be enough. Yeah, it's with the outside pawns. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if rook d5 is good or not. I mean, I can also play queen a4 here.
But I thought I could
and
play.
it's a faster version.
Yeah, I thought I
maybe.
could play
Oh,
knight
but you
d4
go bishop
though.
h6 anyway, yeah.
Knight d4 instead. I thought maybe.
Knight d4, yeah.
Queen a5, knight d4.
And I still don't have g6. That's my problem.
Yeah, because in this one you can't really take on d4.
I go here.
a4. Bishop e3 maybe. Yeah, I mean, okay, this should be fine for black, but it's
yeah, no, it could be
just
unpleasant.
a little unpleasant.
Okay, so
yeah.
queen f6.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything after queen f6. That's why I played the
And
other
bishop
order.
e3?
And just yeah, knight a4, right? Knight a4. Yeah.
Ah, that's right. Yeah,
knight a4.
Because this doesn't work. I think g6 is unpleasant. I mean, sorry, knight d4 is unpleasant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get some. Yeah, queen g7. I mean, I get some rook d8 tricks probably. It's hard to believe.
Was there a point you thought that, yes, I'm winning this?
No, I mean, I thought after knight d2 it was very interesting. I mean, it felt like I got more than I could really hope for when I got this knight to d2. It's like queen a5, knight d2. I mean, I started to get optimistic here, even though, I mean, of course, there's nothing special. But knight a4 was a good move.
Yeah, here the only thing is I felt I had to do this, but then I go knight f6 and bishop e6 and blockade on d5.
Yeah.
After knight d2, I could get into trouble very fast if I don't play to take this pawn.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it feels like it's close, but there's probably nothing because knight c4, queen c3. Yeah, I mean, I have to go for
these
that,
moves don't work because I just take, and the tactics don't work out for him. If knight b3, I can go.
Well, here you can go queen a4 even maybe.
Queen
or queen e5.
e5.
Yeah, I mean, you have many.
And he can never play bishop d4 because of knight e2 check. So couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Queen
only
C3.
here maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the queen a4, but it doesn't work. This
Yeah,
king h7.
king h7, knight b6.
Yeah. Rook e3.
I mean, first of all, there is this move.
Wait, no, because your rook's on e7, not e8. Yeah, that's why, yeah. Wait, what's
then
the
you
position?
can't, it has to be on
Wait,
e8 because it's
what's
after
that?
knight d6, rook e7, you're no longer.
Oh, wait, sorry,
yeah.
wait a second. Wait, what's it? Knight e4, knight e4, takes 6?
Yeah, if I go rook b8, I think bishop e4 is just.
Bishop f4. Yeah,
bishop
sorry,
f4.
bishop f4, right. That was the one.
But I wasn't completely sure that I don't have some bishop h3 stuff, but. No, not here.
But I mean, the problem is, of course, rook e3. That's
yeah,
the
rook e3, and I felt that if he takes here, I'll just go to e7, and that knight is. He's going to play without a knight, and I mean, I have some nice squares for my pieces, knight d4, for instance, or bishop f5, and I just.
Yeah, I
felt
mean, even
I'm
just
very
queen e5,
comfortable
queen
there.
b8 also.
Yeah, so I thought he could do this. So even knight d6. I wanted to go rook f8, but I thought somewhere he could swing the bishop around to b3.
Well, here I play the same way, right? I just take and go. Or you
do this,
want
right?
to just move the bishop, okay?
Or rook c1, I don't know, but queen f6 might work, right? Anyway, I felt rook e7 was quite okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything. I thought already it was kind of. I mean, I really wanted to play bishop c5 here, but I don't think it works.
Yeah, I
just
have
because you
rook
have rook
e5.
e5 and
So,
f4, just rook e2, and it's
We were
just nothing.
discussing or having guesses and everything, and then you suddenly saw the position with knight d6 and knight queen e7, and oh, what has happened now? Who's better then after queen rook e7?
It's just even, I think. I mean,
It's even.
because at some point there's probably too much pressure, so black has to move the bishop and give up b7, or I mean, or what I did, just take on c8 and make the draw. I mean, even here, I think white should still be okay, but
Yeah,
it's like
I
just
mean,
bishop a3.
if even rook fd1, I didn't really see.
Yeah, queen g6. Yeah, queen g6, and I just go like king h2 probably.
Right.
And at some point, something like bishop e6,
Bishop
knight
e6,
b7,
knight b7 is
and
always
it's
gonna kind of work
just
out,
like
so.
turn into a draw. So no, it should just be even. I mean, because I don't think black can improve, and once black moves the bishop, we take b7, simplify the liquidation, and just draw.
So both of you guys are okay with the draw today?
Yeah, I don't think anyone had any real chance.
No. We're on day 2. What do you think, guys, of the coming days? You first, Anand.
Well, day by day. I mean,
It's Ding Liren tomorrow.
yeah, I play Ding tomorrow. No, I play.
You don't? I think you play Ding.
Yeah, and after that Wesley. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean, you
Ding
play
after,
Wesley
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would just say the same thing. It's day by day. Yesterday, probably had some good chances, but you know, every day is different. Some days you'll have a chance, but most days I think are going to be like this for all the players. So it's just how it goes.
Okay, before we tell our viewers bye-bye, Seaman, quick sum up of the day. 5 draws.
Oh, so they're all finished. Yes, we thought it was started off as some very exciting games. We thought, actually we thought your might be the most, not the most boring, but because Arionian So was quite clearly a draw early. But when you played...
Yeah, I mean, but if this is the most interesting game of the day, there's something wrong. So.
but that's what we thought. But then suddenly we saw the knight on d6 and saw the bishop on h7, and we thought, wow, this has become completely crazy. And next time we saw the position, it was over.
Yeah, this is.
So that was about the 3 times we saw the position. And
yeah, but that's what happens in chess now. It looks, a lot of positions look really cool, but you know, just from using the computer so much, that there always are resources to defend. So it's normal.
Okay.
So it's all over.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you guys for coming to the studio, and good luck again tomorrow. And thanks for another day, Seaman. And we'll be back tomorrow at 16:30, 4:30 for round 3 of Altibox Norway Chess 2018. Thank you for watching today, and bye-bye.
Go2 Life is instant health in a bottle. Enjoy the experience of life, vitality, energy, recovery, and water in one water bottle, without the downsides of all those added calories or sugar. Go2 Life is a lifestyle product for wellness, recovery, and energy. It's water charged with high level of oxygen. Using our unique technology, we make it possible to dissolve oxygen in water up to 10 times more than you normally find in your tap or bottled water. That could provide boost to your health. This makes oxygen water one of the most sought-after well-being and lifestyle products in the world. Find out more at www.go2life.no.